Our friend Mike Petriello of MLB.com, who does such great work we all benefit from. Are you the guy that made the distinction between sweeper and slider?
No, I am part of the team that did. I helped implement it, but there's a whole group of people over here, Corey Schwartz and Tom Tango, and, people in the game had been talking about this, whether it's the Yankees whirly, the Dodgers slider, all this kind of stuff. At a certain point, it's just we needed to label it. Guys were throwing multiple sliders. So did I help? Sure. Not just me, no.
Got it. All right. I'm part of the team. Sounds like one of the mea culpas from the Real Housewives. Anyway, Mike, it's good to have you on the program. Now that we've clarified that, you are joining us today to identify a small group of relievers who you think, because of changes in their game, whether it's approach or finger pressure or something else that you'll identify, are primed to break out in 2024. And I'll call your attention first to a guy that's been traded twice in the last few years, Gregory Santos. What are the Seattle Mariners getting after he established himself as a pretty reliable guy with the White Sox last year?
Yeah, Santos is really interesting, and a lot of these guys really serious baseball fans know, but they have high ERAs or no saves, and so most baseball fans won't know, and that's why I like them. Santos is 24 years old, and he's going to his fourth organization, which is not usually something that shines a great light on you, and he actually had a season ender early with an elbow problem last year. The fact that the Mariners were willing to give up what they did to get him says a lot, and it's not hard to see why, right? He throws incredibly hard. He throws his slider at 91 miles an hour. It is the second most valuable slider in the game. And what he did last year that I really liked, and this is what makes me think there's more in there, is he kind of leaned into the new method of pitching. He used to be more four-seam and slider. The four-seam was pretty straight. It just wasn't that interesting. He introduced a two-seamer. Like, sinkers are kind of coming back, especially when you can play off of the slider at high velocity. And you look what he had last year, a 3.39 ERA. That's pretty good. A 2.65 fielding independent pitching. Remember, really bad Chicago defense. This is the perfect organization. Seattle takes these slider guys who throw hard. They make them better. Munoz, Matt Brash, I love them there.
Mike, how about Fernando Cruz, who seemed to find the fountain of youth, the best he's pitched in his entire career at age 34?
Yeah, I don't usually pick 34-year-old relievers as breakout types, right? He's had a long, winding trajectory, independent leagues, Mexican leagues, only made his debut in 2022. The reason he came up to me is we're going to be doing a lot of work with bat tracking this year, right? How fast do batters swing? How much do pitchers miss the bat? And when that comes out, there's going to be something interesting. No pitcher missed bats by as much on average as Cruz did last year. It's partially because he throws the splitter. You can see here that whiff rate, fourth highest. You know the three names ahead of him? Felix Bautista's splitter, which was great. Robin Stevenson's cutter, which got him a big deal with the Angels. And Kodai Senga's ghost fork. And then you have Cruz right after that, and he's another guy with an ERA near 5. It was a couple of bad outings. You look at the underlying metrics, a 2.83 fielding independent pitching. There's more there even at his age.
Dauri Moreta is another guy, a little older, 27, 28. We'll go back to a guy that has a good slider. Tell us about what statistically profiles for him to have a big year.
Yeah, Ron, I really want to hear your thoughts on what that pitch is. He calls it a slider. His catchers say it's not a slider. We think it's a screwball. We don't really know what it is. It moves backwards. It's all over the place. And you look at him last year, a 3.72 ERA again. But he took that pitch, whatever you want to call it, he says it's the slider. The previous year with the Reds, he threw it 24% of the time. Last year with the Pirates, he threw it 65% of the time. And down the stretch, in the last 2 weeks after he came back from the minors, he threw it 80% of the time. 7 perfect innings when he did that. The strikeout rates are up. And I think if we've learned anything about modern pitching, it's that if you have one great pitch, even if it's a weird pitch, throw it as much as you possibly can. I'm really interested to see if he can do that even more this upcoming year.
I think, Mike, you're right in all accounts. That looks more like a backup slider, screwball kind of pitch. Remember, Dice K had it, called it the gyro ball. That's what it looks like so far. I'm lucky enough to see Tyler McGill pitch for the Mets, a talented right-hander. There's a big upside for his brother, though, in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I love guys who've been through a bunch of organizations. He was drafted by the Padres, a Rule 5 to the Cubs, a waiver claim to the Twins. No one noticed that he got traded to the Brewers last year. I didn't even notice it. And then all of a sudden, you see what he did last year. He touched 100 miles an hour almost 100 times. He said that the Cubs helped him unlock the curveball and the Twins helped him unlock the velocity. And all of a sudden, you've got a guy who's throwing 100 miles an hour with one of the hardest curveballs in the game. An 86-mile-an-hour curveball is ridiculous. And one thing I like about him, it's kind of the same thing I like about Santos with Seattle. There's a couple of organizations that you either trust or don't trust to get the most out of pitchers. And the Brewers absolutely count as a team you do trust. There are very few teams that do better with getting the most out of their pitchers than they do. Look at Joel Payamps last year, a couple of other names. I think he's going to be a big part of this team.
Before I let you go, Mike, what new vernacular are you and your colleagues cooking up for 2024?
It's all about bat tracking, Matt. Like, how fast does the bat move? And then it gets complicated. What part of the bat are you measuring? Where's the sweet spot, right? You got to come up with all these physics things and explain it to people. It's all about the bat this year.
Have we broken that stuff out, or is it still to come? Have you rolled it out yet?
We've had a couple of intro articles, like we talked about swords, if you remember that. It's going to be mostly rolled out round opening day, and then more to come as the season goes on.
Excellent. And Mike's post talking about this group of relievers with more rationale is up on MLB.com as we speak. Mike, thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Thanks a lot, guys.